TBC, what's the deal? So I'm back with another prospect. I'm gonna go to New Zealand this time, and Joseph Parker's making a name for himself. I've covered Hemi Ahio, so I'm gonna cover Junior Fa. 6'6", 260 pounds, 26 years old. Um, so I went on YouTube. Watched a lot of his World Series of boxing fights. Now he's only 1-0, and he has one knockout. Before I get to the World Series of boxing stuff, he's 1-0 with the one knockout. He's beat Richard Tutaki, and I will have that fight in the description box for you to check it out. First round knockout win. He knocked Tutaki out. Now Tutaki's an old veteran, southpaw. He's fought Joseph Parker and Hemi Ahio, even Shane Cameroon back in the day. So he's an old veteran, and Fa went in there and just took control from the outset. He went to the body. He finished him with body shots, which was funny because when I was watching the World Series of boxing fights and his amateur fights, I was like, man, I wish this kid would go to the body more. And then his first pro fight, what does he do? He goes straight to the body. Tutaki tried to keep his distance, tried to paw with his jab and keep his range, but his reflexes are gone. His punch reaction is off a little bit. He couldn't react. He couldn't counter the way he wanted to. And Fa just jumped right on top of him and went to his body, but just left and right hooks and walking him down. But now Fa was a really good amateur. He lost to Parker twice in the amateurs, and then he beat Parker when they were both trying to get to the 2012 Olympic Games. He's the guy that eliminated Parker. 6'6", 260. He has good size. He has a decent jab. He has a decent right hand, and he can fight off his back foot really good for a big guy. He's very fluid and elusive, man. Especially when I watched some of his fights from 2010, 2011. Very fluid for a big guy. I'm watching him right now as I'm doing this video. I'm watching actually two fights. Watching the Alexander Usyk fight where he is getting pushed back by Usyk. And we know Usyk is a 5-star prospect. At cruiserweight, they already have him. BoxRec has him like as a top 8 cruiserweight with only about 9 or 10 fights. I've done a prospect watch on Usyk also, but Fa, in majority of this fight, he was getting walked back. He came out looking sharp and looking measured and calm, and then Usyk kind of just took over with his hand speed, and Usyk is even more elusive than Fa with his head and just faster punches, and he's a southpaw. He was just giving Fa trouble, and he started to walk Fa down, and that's not a position you want to be in against Usyk. But Fa is a good counter puncher. He is elusive for his size, but he's also beaten what's the guy's name? Is it William Quarry? Yeah, he beat Quarry in the amateurs that fight. He actually knocked Quarry down also. And Quarry, if you guys follow Iju Agano, is the guy that Agano knocked out in highlight reel fashion. Knockout of the year to a few guys, but he knocked him out of the ring damn near. But Fa beat him, put Quarry down. That fight's on YouTube. Showed his hand speed, fought off his back foot, used a jab, came forward. He looked very springy in that fight on his feet. He has good legs, so I don't want him to balloon up too much, gain too much weight. I think 245, 250 would be great for him. He has good legs. He is 26, so he just started his career, but he has that amateur background, man, that can carry him. So he is a fine-tuned. He isn't a guy that's just turning pro with no experience, or some guy that's coming off a football field or something trying to box. He's well trained, well schooled. Also, if you go on YouTube, there's fights against Makhmudov, and Makhmudov probably I believe he's like an inch taller than Fa, around the same height, same size, and Fa fought off his back foot in that fight. He was going overboard with his right hand a little bit, getting off balance with it. And sometimes he can just look for one shot at a time when he should move his hands, because he has very quick hands. And in these earlier fights, I wanted to see him fight a little bit more on the inside. But his first pro fight, he showed that he will fight on the inside. Again, it was against an older veteran guy who was trying to, keep his distance, a guy who wasn't really trying to fight on the inside with him. Also seen him fight Avery Gibson. Gibson is a pro now. And Gibson has fought Bogdan Dinu and Michael Hunter Jr. and went the decision with those guys and won some rounds, and usually giving guys rounds. But Avery Gibson fought in the World Series of Boxing also, and that was a good fight. Gibson came on late rather down the stretch, and he tried to pressure Fa, but Fa again, He's not a guy who's just going to go backwards and put up his high guard. He will box you off his back foot. And he does have a decent right hand, something if you run into it will hurt you. Always not a huge power puncher, but he's still, you know, 260 pounds. So if you run into a shot, you could put your lights out. But when they announced his record before, I believe it was the Avery Gibson fight, they announced his amateur record at that moment, and I think he was like 30 wins with like 5 losses and only like 12 knockouts, I believe. So not a huge knockout puncher, but again, these amateur fights only going 3, 4, you know, 5 rounds. So if he continues to chop guys down going into later rounds, you know, he could be a heavyweight to look out for. But just getting Junior Fa's name out there, a lot of his fights are on YouTube. But I will leave his professional debut in the description box. And I tried to look for the Joseph Parker fights, any of them, the fights that he lost, the fight that he won. I couldn't find it. It's not on YouTube, but there's some World Series of Boxing fights on there. But I want to see him just, you know, keep his fitness up and just stay with his road work and just use the skills that he got, man. Able to fight off that back foot. That is a it could be a gift and a curse, you know, but it is definitely a gift for a guy that big with that size to be fluid and able to fight off his back foot, let his hands go. Just want to see more snap on that jab and be more, you know, throw it with more authority sometimes, because sometimes he just pecks away with it because he's looking to set up his right hand. But, you know, put some weight behind that jab sometime, mix it up, you know. But I like what I see. 26 years old, so I hope he gets in. You know, he fought what few days ago. We fought a few days ago, so hopefully he can get. If he's the type of guy that wants to get, you know, 6, 7, 8 fights in this year, if he can fight. Hope he has a fight set up next month, because that first fight really wasn't a fight. He probably only got hit about 3 or 4 times. So hopefully he's in there by next month, you know. But just getting his name out there, you know, and hopefully he keeps winning, and Hemi Ahio keeps winning. Maybe that's a showdown in the next 2 years or so. Who knows? Just getting his name out there. YTBC. I'm out.